Former President Trump's warning that there could be violence if he's indicted by a New York City grand jury is, quote, reprehensible and dangerous. That's what the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries told reporters. Trump on his social media site Truth Social said potential death and destruction in such a false charge could be catastrophic for our country. Jeffries said Trump's reckless rhetoric is going to get someone killed. Half of the Final Four is now set in the NCAA's men's basketball tournament. In the West Region, Connecticut routed Gonzaga 82-54 to advance to story the program's first Final Four since 2014 and sixth overall. And a stunner in the East Region, ninth-seeded Florida Atlantic beat Kansas State 79-76 in the thriller to continue their Cinderella run. FAU did not have a single tournament win coming into the season and had made the NCAA tournament just once all time. That's the latest. I'm John Marshall on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
The power of information.
Black news here and now.
The Bay Area's BIN 910. Sports on the Black Information Network.
The National Football League is getting the word out to warn teams of a potential problem. The NFL sent out a memo to all clubs notifying them that a person who is not certified by the NFL Players Association may be attempting to persuade teams to enter into contract negotiations with Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Jackson posted the comment on Twitter after the NFL alerted teams of a possible scam involving him. Under league rules, teams can only speak with Jackson because he doesn't have an agent. The Players Association had informed the league that Francis, who is not a certified agent, may be contacting teams regarding Jackson. Francis and Jackson have denied any contact made the teams on the quarterback's behalf. Meanwhile, former Tampa Bay quarterback Tom Brady is moving on to his next venture. The seven-time Super Bowl winning quarterback has acquired an ownership interest in the WNBA's Las Vegas Aces. Brady said in a statement that he's always been a huge fan of women's sports and that he admires the work that the Aces players, staff, and the WNBA continue to do to grow the sport and empower future generations of athletes. The 45-year-old retired from the NFL following this past season. Per the team release, Brady's purchase will be subject to WNBA approval. And a star running back is narrowing down his free agent destination. ESPN reports Ezekiel Elliott has named the Jets, Eagles, and Bengals as teams he would like to play for. If he joins New York, he'd be part of a backfield led by Breece Hall, with Ty Johnson also on the roster. Philadelphia recently signed Rashad Penny and also has Kenneth Gainwell on passing down. If the former Cowboy wants to play for Cincinnati, he'd join a squad led by Joe Mixon along with Chris Evans. Sports at 14 and 44 minutes past each hour. I'm Morgan Wood on the Black Information Network.
million of them would rather have died than to arrive in the Caribbean or to the eastern shores of what has become the United States.
Governor Roy Cooper vetoed a similar bill last year. The bill now moves to the Senate.
An Ohio high school teacher is being investigated after he allegedly used a racial slur in a classroom. The Nordonia High School teacher said the slur while discussing which words were unacceptable with his students. The high school and the district apologized, stating that the teacher has been relieved of his duties while the school conducts an investigation. Akron NAACP President Judy Hill agrees with the decision.
But I also want to applaud the teacher for saying, this is the standard I'm setting in my classroom. And if we don't have high standards, then we're going to get it.
It's not yet known if the teacher will be placed on suspension or if he permanently will be relieved of his duties.
In Georgia, students walked out of an Atlanta high school to protest proposed redistricting. Several hundred teens from Midtown High walked out of class and protested at Piedmont Park. At issue is the suggested rezoning of several neighborhoods to Washington High. The protesters say the district is targeting minority neighborhoods while white areas are being left alone. During the walkout, Atlanta News First spoke to organizer Senior Makash Dozier.
I feel like it's going good, but I feel like they haven't been heard because I feel like they're telling us it's not good and they're going to be on the intercom and tell us this, that, and the third. And they're going to write emails.
Dozier told the news outlet she'll likely be reprimanded for her actions.
A black handicapped Connecticut man creates inspiring art, and he does it all without his hands. In 2007, the then 21-year-old Ryan Rosario suffered a diving accident, which left him paralyzed from the neck down. After his accident, Ryan taught himself how to paint. So far, he sold over 100 paintings from Connecticut to California. Painting has also helped him cope after losing his wife to cancer in 2021. Today, Ryan is a single dad of 3, but every day he teaches his family and his supporters a powerful message.
I've always seen my disability as my superpower.
This summer, he plans to hold a few pop-up events.
Listen to the Black Information Network or the iHeartRadio app or log on to BINnews.com. On social media, follow the BIN on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Black Information Network and on Twitter at BlackInfoNet. I'm Doug Davis along with Esther Dillard on your home for 24/7 News, Black Information Network.
Black news impacting your town,
Your world, your voice.
The Bay Area's BIN 910.
Your money on the Black Information Network.
The Federal Reserve is hiking interest rates despite concerns over the banking system. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said inflation remains too high and the labor market is very tight.
The committee raised the target range for the federal funds rate by 1/4 percentage point, bringing the target range to 4 3/4 to 5%.
Powell says there's no need to worry about the banking system.
The process of getting inflation back down to 2% has a long way to go and is likely to be bumpy.
Powell's remarks come after the recent failure of California's Silicon Valley and New York's Signature Bank.
Our banking system is sound and resilient with strong capital and liquidity. We will continue to closely monitor conditions in the banking system and are prepared to use all of our tools as needed to keep it safe and sound.
Meanwhile, Citigroup CEO James Frazier said recent bank failures aren't a sign of systemic trouble in the financial system.
This is not something they've spread across the entire banking system. This isn't like it was last time.
Frazier says Americans have a reason to be confident that the banking system is sound. Money News at 24 and 54 minutes past the hour. I'm Bernie Davis on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
the power of information.
Keeping you up to date on the Black Information Network, the Bay Area's BIN 910.
I'm Esther Dillard.
And I'm Doug Davis on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
A black man from Queens, New York is celebrating after a court cleared his name of a 1993 murder. The Daily News reports Michael Robinson served 26 years behind bars for killing home health aide Gwendolyn Samuels. New York Supreme Court's appellate division judges ruled the case should have allowed for DNA evidence. Robinson's defense attorneys argued he was with his family and he couldn't have killed Samuels. The paper reports the conviction hinted on eyewitness testimony
Fucking
of Samuel's
GPS.
88-year-old patient who reportedly had cataracts in both
I hate
eyes.
this fucking GPS.
Lawmakers are
Hate
considering
this
a
so
bill that will
much.
change how the state compensates people who serve time after being wrongfully convicted of a crime. Atlanta News First reports it proposes paying $60,000 to $120,000 for each year a person is wrongfully held behind bars. It's something exonerated African-American John White wishes was around when his name was cleared in 2007 after spending more than 20 years in prison.
To give the exoneree more control of their lives.
Georgia is one of 12 states that does not offer statutory compensation for people wrongfully convicted.
An inspiring story out of Illinois. Lou Freeman, the first black pilot for Southwest Airlines, visited school to seek this trailblazing career in the airline industry. Students asked Freeman questions, and Freeman enthusiastically shared answers.
To young students and trying to motivate them and trying to let them know
Who the fuck is that piece of ghost story?
Always want to work harder and keep trying at my goal, no matter how many times I fail.
Freeman encouraged students to pursue their dreams and do whatever it takes to make their dreams come true.
Getting more women and girls involved in construction and manufacturing trades. That's the mission of North Carolina nonprofit She Built This City. WCNC reports it's partnered with Lowe's Foundation to fill the need for 546,000 skilled trade positions in the area for 2023. Lowe's is a proud founding partner of the Black Information Network.
I'm Esther Dillard, along with Doug Davis, on your home for 24/7
Hate
News,
this
the Black
GPS.
Information Network. Now here's Morgan Wood with the Washington Roundup. The Biden administration is celebrating Women's History Month.
We have to do everything we can to knock down the barriers that stand in the way of all women and girls.
At an event at the White House, President Biden introduced himself as Jill Biden's husband and said his administration is focused on improving the economic status of women. He also spoke about the Supreme Court overturning of the landmark Roe v. Wade abortion ruling.
An extreme Supreme Court stripped away fundamental freedom that existed for half a century. We got to continue to fight to protect women's fundamental right to make decisions about her own body.
This comes at the same time President Biden is marking the 13th anniversary of the Affordable Care Act. He called the bill signed by former President Biden the most consequential health care legislation since the creation of Medicare and Medicaid. Biden said he's focused on expanding the law known as Obamacare to offer Americans more affordable insurance and lower drug prices. That's your Washington Roundup. I'm Morgan Wood on the Black Information Network.
The Bay Area's BIN 910 is powered in partnership with Direct Relief and Chevy. Thank you for partnering with a purpose on the Black Information Network.
I'm Bill Black with another Bet You Didn't Know music fact. Some R&B tracks are so good that the instrumental was used to make other hits throughout the years. Take the bar this 1983 hit Symmetry. Speed up the track just a little bit, and you get the notorious B.I.G.'s One More Thing. Fast forward again, slow it down just a little bit, and you get Ashanti's Foolish. Then slow it down a little bit more, and we bring it up to date with Moneybag Joe's Waukesha.
I'm sitting here knowing I don't need to put my O's under the sipping, chasing with my reef, can't get my mind on Waukesha. Watch me put my heart in this cup.
From the 80s to the 90s, the 2000s, and now, one song, a lot of hits. I'm Bill Black, and that's another Bet You Didn't Know music fact on the Black Information Network.
I'm Vanessa Tyler.
And I'm Mike Stevens on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network. More than 24 people dead, many of them believed to be African American, after severe weather again hits the Deep South. Reports say there were numerous tornadoes hitting over the weekend, leaving homes and businesses flattened and people's lives shattered. This is the Black Mayor of Rolling Forks, Mississippi.
What we're doing now is assessing all the damage around, along with the volunteers to locate folk who are trapped in their homes.
The National Weather Service says one of the tornadoes was an EF4, with the second highest wind speed possible.
A black man, military trained, is accused of using his shooting skills on his own children in a massacre in Sumter, South Carolina, near Shaw Air Force Base. Police say veteran Charles Flack was there visiting. The ex-wife is also a sergeant major in the military. Then police say after killing the man with his ex-wife trying to stop him, he headed for the children.
Mr. Slacks entered the home with the key, walked outside, fired several shots at a 38-year-old male who died from the injuries. Mr. Slacks goes back in the residence, followed by Mrs. Holiday, who was the mother of 3 children. Those children were upstairs asleep.
Police say he killed 3 children, 2 his own and 1 stepdaughter, and finally turned the gun on himself. The mother, an ear witness.
And she hears several gunshots. I think anybody that has children, anybody that has empathy related to a child dying so violently could understand how that mother is feeling.
Police say the couple had just finalized their divorce. This is not the kind of welcome a black businesswoman expected to get from her North Carolina white neighbor when 21-year-old Angel Pittman bought the land in Salisbury as a home base for her mobile hair salon business. She says she was met with Confederate flags, swastikas, and of course a KKK sign. She also believes the white man who kept his gun visible was responsible for vandalism of some of her mobile buses. She says police wrote hate crime in their report and didn't do much else. She set up a GoFundMe to repair her buses, the fund surpassing its $80,000 goal.
Hey, don't be so fast to single out TikTok, says Black Congressman Jamal Bowman. The New York Democrat says lawmakers need to focus on all social media, collecting our personal data.
Often without our consent or understanding of where the data is going or how it works. And our data is now being sold, has always been sold to the highest bidders, both in foreign nations and here in our country.
Bowman, speaking on Meet the Press, says national legislation is needed. He also cautions banning the platform could hurt Democrats politically with young people.